Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. Hey, guys. Welcome to the... Welcome, Legal Eagles. Welcome to the Eagle's Nest. This is where Legal Eagle comes home to cry. Oh my gosh. I know it's actually RGE, the true legal eagle, not Devin, but a much greater eagle of much higher caliber and class. So, how are you guys doing tonight? Oh boy, have we got a dark one tonight, y'all. We got a dark one. Did I check my Twitter for what? Maybe. We're going to start in just a few minutes with a rare whiskey review. This is a rare whiskey review. This is Kentucky Owl Straight Rye Whiskey. This is the last rye batch. It is a 10-year rye. It's not cheap. And it's the last release in the series or whatever. We'll talk about it in a minute. So that is what we're going to open with in a few, and then that will, of course, help carry us through the lawsuit we are reading tonight, which is John Doe versus Twitter. We started this the other day, but we will read through it today. 79 pages total, but that includes, I think, some exhibits. So hopefully not 79 full pages. But it'll be fun delving, and by fun I mean horrifying, delving into the world of Twitter and their love of cheese pizza. Bakamatai sends her regards. Very nice. Tell her I said what's up. Yes, I zoomed in the camera. I got a new microphone here, so I'm hoping it sounds okay. It sounded good. It sounded good when I did some tests on it. So hopefully it's less obstructive than the other one and sounds great. We're going to talk a little bit about the impeachment of Donald Trump, because they announced today that Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts will not preside over the impeachment trial of a president of the United States. Presumably because their argument is that he's no longer a president. Although, if he's not president, then I'm not entirely sure how he is being impeached. Constitution doesn't say anything about a sitting president. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. What else do we have? I got some gifts today as well. Or I got a gift today as well, I should say. A gift. And then I received, I got a new Warhammer thing, and I'm not going to focus on that. It's just the context for this story that I want to talk to real quick. I got an RE20 mic. So, got this ridiculous shock mount. I need a new mic boom arm or whatever, but still working on all this stuff. Figuring out the best way to do it. My desk is also really bad for mounting microphones. So, anyway, let's do this. Let's start with my very brief story about eBay. So I got this new Warhammer thing. It's called Hellwinter Gate. It's a box set with some books in it, right? Very cool, neat thing. Got some art, nerd stuff. I've been waiting for it for a while because it's really hard to buy stuff direct from Games Workshop now. It's really tough. Because of scalpers. Because like everything now, it doesn't matter what you want. If it's at all limited in quantity, scalpers use some sort of bot or whatever, and they buy up everything. They buy up the stock immediately, and then they immediately throw that stock into eBay at like triple the price. That's angry. You'll know if I have a YouTube play button update. I don't have one. Guys, there are some topics that I will cover like immediately, like the Vic thing. People keep asking me. It's not. You're going to know the answer. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so they grab the things and you know, it's like one person buys like 5 of these and then puts them up on eBay at triple the price, which is lovely. Lovely. Great display of capitalism, and I hate it. You know, scalpers are a product of existing, and I can still hate them. But, you know, that's what they have. That's what they do, and there's not much you can really do about it. But here's my real problem. Here's my real problem. Okay, yeah, there's nothing special on here. This came with it, okay? This is just the eBay receipt with a little note from the seller. From Tora the Zalin Flying Wolf, a power seller on eBay. It says, quote, "Thanks for your purchase. I hope you love it." You know what? Eat shit. Listen to me. Like, you're scalping. You're not providing customer service. You're not doing some great thing. You're not the retailer. You're not trying to earn my business. You snuck in. You snatched these things and then marked the price up 300%. Fuck you. Of course I'm going to enjoy it. That's why I bought it. That's why you bought it, because you knew I'd enjoy it. But what you're doing isn't like some good thing. Oh, here you go, buddy. Happy to help out. You didn't help out. You added an unnecessary step in the chain of commerce for the sole purpose of being a fucking dick. Go catch fire. I hope you die unpleasantly. I hate these people. You have a right to do what you do, but I hope you die while doing it. Miserably. On fire if possible. And cold at the same time. God, these people piss me off. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you love it, buddy. Good job. Yeah. Fuck you. I don't want your bullshit. Just sell me the damn product that you bought for the sole purpose of scamming me out of money. God. No, not in Minecraft. In real life. I hope their balls get stuck in a vice and then they fall off a fucking cliff while the vice is still fastened to a table at the top. And it rips off and they die of blood loss on the way down. But then they're revived just before they land and they feel the splattering. Good Lord. So anyway, I'm having a good day. I'm having a good day. Let's get out this rare bottle of whiskey. Then we can get on to the the Trump impeachment rant. Will you leave a bad seller review? I mean, no, they gave me the product. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. I just hate their existence. I more hate that Games Workshop doesn't have any method to seemingly combat it. I also hate that they never, like, I can't seem to find out when things are coming out, which is probably me being dumb, but it doesn't matter. They made it, it used to be so easy to know when something was coming out. They would put it up in advance. They'd say, this is releasing on this day, and you just went and bought it. I don't understand what was so damn hard about putting up a thing that says this will release on this day right on the fucking website where you buy it. Why? You did that before. Why would you undo this? All right. Oh, I should probably read this as a proper whiskey review. Watch this bottle of whiskey fall and pour on my head. Okay. David Tay, no, they stopped pre-ordering of those things. I mean, they basically are pre-orders. They're just limited. So they're limited to like 1,500 copies, and then they're done. So they're basically a pre-order. So I guess there is a way to pre-order it, but now, like some, I don't know, they don't tell you when they're released. Okay, so anyway, this is the Kentucky Owl 10-year straight rye whiskey. All right, the Wise Man's Rye. The bottle here says the last rye batch is the final release in this series and marks the end of an amazing journey for me. I'm very proud of this release and think it's ending on a very special note. Save this one for the right occasion, which I'm doing right now. I'm saving it on the I'm saving it for the right occasion, which is you guys. Oh, okay. Licking it off the bottle, there's a bunch of spice right up front, which is great. Really looking forward to this. Got to do more streams like last night's. I probably will. Speaking of which, Drexel's coming out tomorrow. I don't think he'll be on the show tomorrow because he'll probably be getting here really late. But he'll be on the show some point this week. Okay, it's very, very alcohol-y. Kind of like ethanol. Okay, that's better. I think some of it just kind of released into the glass and hung out there. Smells good. Smells like whiskey. I'm not good at the whole notes thing. I'm getting whiskey. Okay. Whoa. Whew. Everything that this touches feels like it's on fire. Oh my gosh. My whole mouth is aflame. It's not smoky, but it's like biting on a bunch of thumbtacks or something. Oh, it's good. That's crazy. Figures. Oh man. No, no, no. This is way different than Amroot. Amroot is smoky and peaty. This is not peaty. This is like punching stuff into your taste buds and the roof of your mouth and cheeks and everything. Gums. They're all kind of like going numb right now. This is really, really delicious. And interactive. This is like the most... I'm using stupid words. I don't know how to review whiskey, but this is like the most tactile whiskey I've ever tasted. This is great. Mm. Wow. Really sour on the aftertaste. I have no idea what that is. I've never tasted whiskey like this before. Nothing even close. I don't even know how to describe it. That is wildly good. Very, very unexpected. Okay. I mean, like, I'm rarely surprised by a bottle of whiskey, right? It's like, oh, this is good, or this tastes like liquor to get the job done. This thing, like, I'm dumbstruck. I don't know what, I don't have the words to describe it. I feel like a 5-year-old or whatever. 5-year-old drinking liquor. No, it doesn't taste like scotch at all. I've drank plenty of scotch. It's nothing like it. Whew. 56.4% alcohol, which is not the highest proof liquor I've had. I like it. I like it. Chrono Trigger happy? No. I've had unaged rye whiskey, and that would be good as the solvent. This is much better. I just don't know what the flavors are. I've never had anything that just it punches, man. This is a thing I saw. Like your mouth got punched in the balls. What was that? I saw that just the other day. I don't know. Anyway, I did get I'm going to go back to that whiskey in a little bit. We're going to talk inauguration. But first, I wanted to thank Muujin1, who sent me... Muujin1 sent me a bottle of Apple Core Reserve. Okay. This is a homemade bottle. It is... or a homemade whiskey or liqueur. It's not a whiskey. It's not high enough proof. It says, "Hey, Nick, this is a bottle of cold distilled Applejack I made back in 2019. Finally got around to creating a label. It should be around 30 to 34% alcohol by volume. This is nice, sweet, strong, and smooth sipper. Enjoy." Hey, thank you, by the way, Muujin1. Really, really appreciated. I'm not gonna try it today with the Kentucky Owl, but I do very much appreciate the bottle, and I will drink it on stream. Remind us the make and model of what? So. Whew. Okay, so final things before we get fully started. I am going to be trying to get Lucas Gerhard's attorneys on. I need to get back to them. Apparently, there's some developments going on in Lucas's case, and I would love to talk to them about this. I would also love to talk to them about what's going on in Michigan, because they are Michigan attorneys, and they have sued Whitmer a couple times over the lockdowns. I don't know if you guys saw, but Governor Whitmer waited just a couple days after Joe Biden's inauguration to announce that Michigan is suddenly going to open up again. You may have seen similar things in, what was it, New York, where Cuomo says we need to open up. You'll see other liberal states following, because the economy now needs to recover so that Joe Biden can recover. He can have the recovered economy. And if you want I don't know what to tell you other than I told you so. The lockdowns are bullshit. They always were. They're an impact to freedom. They're not designed to curb the disease. They have nothing to do with it. It was all a sham and a lie. I said it before. People yelled at me. People left my Discord over COVID. People quit contributing to me on Patreon over this bullshit. And it was all fucking fake. Not the virus. The virus obviously exists, and people are obviously getting sick from it, and many people have obviously died from it. The entire idea of the lockdown, which, by the way, I've never said that the virus is anything less than real. My thing is, people are going to die. Okay, and this is not a justification for the restriction of freedom. People are going to die is the exact reason freedom exists. Because if you could just say people are going to die and restrict freedom, you don't have freedom. But now it was engineered in such a way to cripple the economy, one of the absolute strongest points of Trump's administration until COVID. Now that he's gone, COVID can go away. It's going to go away. As soon as it's convenient, it's gone. It'll exist in the way that it needs to exist to forward the agenda, but in other way, like, for stimulus checks to try and buy back some votes, or whatever. It'll exist in that way, in those ways, and then largely the states will start to have their economies recover because there's no reason to have them in the gutter anymore. Got to get those kids back in school. Should have had them in school the whole time. Dummies. But that's how it goes. So, anyway. These guys have sued Whitmer over the lockdown orders. They've sued for other stuff as well. So I really want to have them on. I'll probably be reaching out to them tomorrow. I was going to today, but I had some other stuff I had to get taken care of. So they are hopefully on the docket. I want to get Joe Neerman back on. That's the based New York attorney, Joe. I would like to get Barnes on. He's usually only able to come on for about an hour at a time, but I'm going to send an invite out to him because I would like to talk to him about the impeachment. I want to talk with some more people about the Parler lawsuit. I think Barnes and Viva hit really well on the Parler lawsuit on their live stream this weekend. And so I'd like to just kind of exchange some thoughts on it. And I have a feeling that Barnes's opinion is whoever the judge themselves basically negated Parler's ability to win this lawsuit. But I wanted to talk to him about some deficiencies I saw in the complaint. Namely, the failure to brief Washington's implied duty of good faith and fair dealing, which is a critical in Washington State. The implied duty of good faith and fair dealing is actually a clause with teeth, and they didn't brief it, and I feel like they should have. So I'd like to talk to somebody about that, but we'll see. Otherwise, working on a painting stream with as soon as possible, and then also a Dan Fraga stream. So I'm going to try and mix in some escapism along with along with the legal topics. You know, I feel like the legal topics right now are very, very heavy, and it would be nice to have some escapism to go in with there. As for Lynn Wood gate crashing, a censorship conference call. Did I see it? No. However, I may be procuring the uncut audio of the call. Or I may not. We'll see. But as soon as you know, if I have that uncut audio of the call, we may just do it straight through on a live stream. I'm not sure. But it's, from what I'm told, it's about 43 minutes total. I think some clips are up. I think some clips have come up, but if I'm able to get it, we will air it. So working on it. The full thing is up on his Telegram. Okay, I'll have to check. I didn't know the full thing was up. So I'll see if I can grab it from there. And then we'll do that on a live stream or something. Let's see. Has Barnes ever been asked the balls, no balls question? Guys, I'm going to stop asking guests the balls, no balls question. I'm gonna do it. It just needs to stop. So I'm going to punish the chat a little bit. Barnes was asked the yes/no question. Okay. Look, you bring this upon yourself. Try me. All right. Speaking of chats, let's do the chats. And then, God, that is good whiskey. I think I just took a sip and I don't even remember. Let's do the chats and then let's hit this impeachment stuff. Did I see Elizabeth Hurley's tweet 10 hours ago? I saw it on the Az show. Woo! Whoa! Setting the barometer. You know what? You guys disliking the stream or whatever, I can't even see the dislikes until after the stream. It only shows me likes because YouTube knows how I feel. What did she tweet? Have you guys? Oh my goodness. What? Okay. This is for science. This is important. The chat is asking about Elizabeth Hurley and what she tweeted, and I have an obligation. I have a legal obligation to show the chat what is up. Give me just a second. This is okay. Here we go. There. This is the tweet from Elizabeth Hurley. How could I resist? All right. Elizabeth Hurley is 54 years old. And people are very, 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 very upset that she would dare tweet this. So, I don't know, what motivated the tweet. She just said, how could I resist? I don't know. Is it her birthday or something? But Yeah. So that's Elizabeth Hurley's tweet. So for science and research purposes, I had to share it with the stream. The best reply I've seen is from Hill Tweet Blues. She says, "You look amazing, heart," and then tucks boobs into pajama bottoms. That is a great response. Okay, anyway. Let's see. But yes, people are very salty about Elizabeth Hurley tweeting, daring to tweet out herself looking probably better than them. All right. The Dragon's Treasure sent a chat earlier. He says, "Time to get creative with my shilling. For the rest of the month, every order of $30 or more will include a free 20-gram bag of Space Cowboy gunpowder tea. Upgrade that to 50 grams if you spend $60. Help pay my rent so I can pay for Nick's mortgage via Super Chats." He also says, "I'll also retroactively apply this to orders from earlier today. Money will also go towards getting me a new kitten so my current cat isn't so lonely. Do you want this cat to be lonely? Then fall for this emotional manipulation and buy my tea." So that is from the Dragon's Treasure Tea, thedragonstreasure.com, a haven for tea and anime lovers. So if you like tea or anime, really sincerely high quality tea that is anime themed, go check it out. Thedragonstreasure.com. Ace of Spades says, "Hey Nick, have you heard of YouTube algorithm glitch? The Spiffing Brit made a video on it explaining it, but basically community posts increases your visibility. I'd use it to boost your subscribers before they patch it." I mean, it doesn't automatically translate to more subscribers, but I use community posts all the time. And they do show up in weird places. Now I didn't do the algorithmic community post thing, but I actually post community posts with relative frequency, several a week. Usually just stream announcements though. But yeah. James Karg says, "Curious, what is your favorite Warhammer chapter? I'm partial to the Adeptus Custodes, given they're more or less the only dedicated Terran historians who know what Terra was like before the Unification Wars, as I read." Yeah, I'm a huge Custodes fan, but they're not really a Space Marine chapter, so I usually don't answer that when asked the question. Founding chapters, Salamanders, second founding, Soul Drinkers. There you go. That's my answer. Bad Vibe says, "You got a snowflake, Mike. RE2020. RE20. Lol. No, it's not a snowflake. This mic is strong. No, I got a mic I can yell into, like down through the urethra rather than into the side of it. I didn't like yelling at the side of the microphone. I think this gives me a little bit of a lower profile mic presence on the screen, but actually having the mic directly in the wave of my voice. So the Dragon's Treasure says, "That's like my tea order that got delivered to the wrong address. Then the people stole my tea, returned some of it, then left a note expecting praise for doing the right thing. Utter scumbags." Yep. No, Neff, this one has a built-in pop filter. So it doesn't need a pop filter. Pop filters are degenerate and I hate them. Bad Vibe says, "Just push play. I'm going to tell you anyway." Siren Jag says, "But if the Chief Justice isn't going to preside because Trump is no longer president, then Trump can't be impeached because he's no longer president. Were these people all dropped on their heads as tiny lizard hatchlings?" Yes. Generalissimo Says, Nick, the entire pizza topic is blacker than Satan's poo, but at least the cuties audition process reduced the supply of innocent child souls long enough to send a certain justice into torpor. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, that was horrifying. Bad Vibe says, if you start hooting, we got problems. Between that beak and your sleep beak and your sleep schedule, you're just a hoot and feathers away from being an owl. Still better than being foul. Thank you. Mithrin Emrys says, liberal states opening now that Biden is president. Oh my, fetch my smelling salts and fainting couch. I fear I shall swoon. The Wanderer says, grift us, grift daddy, by teaching us how to read legislation and using the easy tool Freedom of Information Act gives us, which is congress.gov. Grift us by teaching us what should have been taught in high school, as it is part of the duty of voting. Many people want me to look up House Bill 1, which basically is codifying everything that was done in the election, from ballot harvesting to absentee voting. You know, just make it, just take it over at the federal level. But I haven't read through the whole bill, and I'm not really super inclined to read it right now. Talbot Link says, Nick pulls up a Twitter for Thomas Dolby reasons. Science! Chat gets like Danny Elfman, or was that Twitter? Weird science or little girls? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. You just saw booty in the thumbnail? Where's the booty? I don't even know what's on the thumbnail. Did the thumbnail get changed from the standard? No. Oh, you're talking about the... it probably showed the clip with the Elizabeth Hurley tweet on it. You missed it. Sorry. Okay. Let's briefly talk about this impeachment. This impeachment of Donald Trump. So, if you didn't see, I did a video yesterday. The video yesterday was about Chief Justice John Roberts hiding from Donald Trump. He had alleged in private, and Senator Rand Paul had shared publicly, that John Roberts was saying he was not going to preside over the impeachment trial of Donald Trump. Now, here's the thing. I've seen people say that he needs to recuse himself and stuff like that. He can't recuse himself. That's not a thing. The Constitution is pretty clear. Okay? Article 1, Section 3. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside. That's it. Not may, not might, not can, shall. The Chief Justice shall preside. There isn't recusal. There isn't any of that. Even if he was just appointed by the president, the Chief Justice shall preside. So let's get rid of the whole notion that the Chief Justice would recuse himself from the case, because he wouldn't. That being said, I don't know what process they're using to determine that John Roberts is not going to sit and instead Leaky Leahy will sit. Angry Baneling, that was George Bush Jr., GW. The Pat Leahy, as President pro tempore of the Senate, will be hearing the case. He'll be presiding over. But don't worry, he's pledged to act in a nonpartisan way. I mean, except when he votes or whatever. But he is pledged to act in a nonpartisan way, so it's fine. It's fine that that'll happen. But here's the thing. John Roberts didn't recuse himself, so however this deal was made or determined is still a mystery, to me at least. Maybe it says in some Maybe it says in some article somewhere. But if you're not, like, the words are clear. Did I stutter? When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside. Donald Trump was impeached as the President of the United States, as he necessarily must have been. There's an open question about whether or not you can try someone after they're out of office for impeachment. It's happened once, and then the other time it kind of didn't, kind of did. I mean, they had the trial, but it was basically ended up being a dismissal for saying they didn't have jurisdiction. But those are resignations. They're a little different, but there's not really a solid answer on can you try the impeachment after someone leaves office. And those are resignations versus Donald Trump, his term ending. But what is a little bit more clear is that they really don't think you can impeach someone who has left office. Some scholars argued that Richard Nixon could have been impeached after leaving office. Could have. But they didn't actually ever find out. Like, that's just, some people said, oh, they still could have done it. And they didn't do it, though. They didn't do it. This is entirely new. This is an entirely new thing. And so I see someone saying Trump isn't a president now. He's not being impeached as former president. He's impeached as president. And the impeachment entails both removal and prevention of holding future offices. So the removal of him as president is actually relevant to the case. It's the critical aspect of it. It's the first hurdle they have to overcome. If he's not president, then you can't impeach him. If you can impeach him as president, then you have to have him sit as president. I get that he's not still in the office, but they're not impeaching not the president. They're not impeaching Trump, the former president. They're not impeaching Trump, the businessman. They impeached the president of the United States. They did so before he left office, mainly because they were worried if they did it after he left office, it might not be valid. They could have easily waited to impeach Trump 100 days. If they're not going to hold the trial for 100 days, they could have waited. So what they've done now is they've taken what should be a straightforward thing, which is if you're going to impeach a president before he leaves office so that he is president while impeached, great. Then he sits as president and the Chief Justice presides. Here's the crazy thing. Depending on how they do this, not only, because if they throw out the Chief Justice presiding, if they determine that Donald Trump is not president, guess what? Donald Trump doesn't get a hearing in front of the full Senate. They can have just the Senate Judiciary Committee or just the Senate Intelligence Committee or just one guy hear the trial of Donald Trump. If there aren't specific rules for the president that are laid out in the Constitution, which is your right to a trial in front of the full Senate with the Chief Justice presiding, if you don't have that, then you don't get a trial in front of the Senate if they don't want to do it. This happened in the other Nixon that was impeached, the federal judge Nixon. Federal Judge Nixon got a trial in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. That's it. 12 guys or whatever. 12 people had the trial of Nixon. Now he gets a vote, but they report what their hearing, what their findings were to the full Senate, and the Senate votes. There's no hearing before the full Senate in that case, which means that if they wanted to do that to Trump, they can, because if they determine he's not a president, then he's not entitled to it. Yeah, Dershowitz says it's unconstitutional. Great. Except they're going to do it anyway. It doesn't matter what Dershowitz says. It doesn't matter what I say. It matters what they do. And they're going to do it this way. My point in this is not whether or not they can. They can. It might be found to be invalid or something later, I guess. But they can do it. They're going to do what they're going to do. My point in this, though, is, again, this is an opportunity to have some integrity in the system itself. This is why the Supreme Court should have taken up some election case. Even if they found completely against Trump, they should have taken up the case. This was the problem many of us had with Texas versus Pennsylvania. That case was engineered to go before the Supreme Court in about the best way it could be done. And then they just refused to hear it. And because they refused to hear it, now everybody will forever say, no court looked at this. No court honestly looked at these cases. And they'll have a very, very good point that no court ever did. Now, if Donald Trump is impeached a second time, but not impeached as a president of the United States, not treated as president while sitting for his impeachment, then from forever, people are going to say that's not a valid impeachment. It's not valid. And if he's acquitted, they're going to say it's not valid because he didn't get treated as the president. There is a reason that following the spirit or the letter of the rules matters, even if there's a technical question. They go, okay, maybe he's not sitting president, so maybe we don't have to have the chief judge. Here's an idea. Why don't we just have the chief judge and treat him like a president? It's not like he's going to undo the presidency of Joe Biden if he wins. That was a joke I made on Twitch last night or YouTube. I don't remember which one. The joke was, oh, well, if they treat him as if he's still president and then they fail to remove him, he can say, checkmate, checkmate, you're terrible. Now I'm back. I'm back as president because you failed to remove me. That's not going to happen. Like, that wasn't the deep ploy. That was clearly a joke, but that wouldn't happen anyway. So the idea that they're doing this just further impugns the credibility of the system. And that's stupid. Why do it? Why set it up this way? You're not going to have better success. Like, you're already at maximum. Just put the chief judge on the stand. Are they afraid that Roberts would dismiss it? Maybe. I don't think he can, though. I don't think he can actually dismiss it just because he's presiding. Still has to go to a Senate vote. Anyway, this is my problem with the impeachment. Like, they were going to impeach Trump. That's fine. They did it before he left office. Okay. Like, we can sit there and bitch back and forth with Alan Dershowitz about whether or not the impeachment is valid, but they're going to hold the trial. To me, if I'm going to do something that is at all questionable, I'm going to do it in the least questionable way possible. He can only decline, dummy. Who can only decline? You don't agree with my reading? What don't you agree with? Mithrin Emirates. Oh, wait. Truck and Bear says, sent you something in your DMs on the Twitters. It's stream appropriate if you want to share. I'll see you in a minute. Mithrin Emirates says, ho, all there, Nick. Are you saying the system still has some shred of credibility left? Gonna have to disagree with you there, Vam. They want them to be. The Chief Justice cannot decline. Shall. It's a constitutional mandate. If the Chief Justice doesn't preside over the president's impeachment, then it's not an impeachment. I don't know what. Yes, he can. Cite fucking precedent then. Cite it. Show me where he can. Show me where he can decline to sit in front of the president's impeachment. Because I can cite you the case that says the president's entitled to it. I'm not drunk. Not even close. U.S. versus fucking Nixon. It's the president of the United States has a right to the Chief Justice presiding under the Constitution. U.S. v. Nixon. There is no contravailing case law. There is nothing casting that decision into question. There is nothing that says otherwise. Anywhere. They're going on the weird presumption that he's not president. Because if he is president, he can go only a right. Yeah, it's the right of the president, though. Not of the Chief Justice. It is mandated. The language is shall. It's all case law. Shall is mandatory. All of it. Only all of it, though. At this point, it's not. Okay, listen. Let me do this. You have a right not to be raped by a police officer. Now, I guess, in theory, the police officer can decline to accept that right of yours and rape you. So, yeah, you can get raped by an agent of the state, even if there's a law saying you shall not be. Okay? You have a right to that. But at some point, there is a constitutional right to not be raped by a police officer. I think it would be an unlawful intrusion into your person under the Fourth Amendment. I'm gonna guess. But it might do it. My point in all this is even if they do it, they don't have the right to do it. And the dumb thing about that is of course they know this. They're not dumb. They're nefarious and they're politicians. Why would they do this? Because it drags the story out longer. All of this is intended to diminish the presidency of Donald Trump. It always was. That's what they are doing. That's what they'll continue to do. That's the point. That's the purpose. That's the goal. So, what they want to do is pretend he wasn't president for 4 years. They have to undo that. So, by doing this, they leave this bit in the news and they leave something to fight over for the news cycle. Remember, they have to chip away at Donald Trump's credibility with Republican congressmen for 100 days. They have a timer, tick, 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 100 days they have to get 17 noodle-spined idiots to turn on Trump and their own voters and vote against him. People like Romney, McConnell, John Cornyn. That's who they're targeting with this. And they're going to do it. Susan Collins, Murkowski, not Murkowski. Anyway, whichever one it is. It doesn't matter. They have 100 days. That's why they're doing this. It's not about right. It's not about the Chief Justice declining to hear it. He can't. He literally cannot. It's not an option for the Chief Justice to say, I'm not going to do that if he's president. But they're acting as if he's not, because diminishing his presidency is the goal. My point is not that they won't do it or that they can't do it. Of course they can. They can execute you while they're wrong. They can put you in prison and kill you and determine later that they were wrong. Okay? It's not like they can't do this. That's not what I'm ever saying. I'm saying they have the reason I'm pointing this out is because they have no interest in legitimacy. Don't want it. Because if you wanted it to look legitimate, if you wanted it to be as legitimate as possible, this whole process is questionable because he has left office. He's out. Their ability to even hear the case is in question when it comes to a president who's already out. So when you have that, when you're already at a weaker than normal position, you should attempt in all other ways to maintain an air of relevancy, of legitimacy, and they're not doing it. And it's only going to increase divide. Anyway. All right. Squishy Hunter says, Bennis, that is all. Mithran Emmer says, there is no contravening case law yet. Just wait for Trump v. U.S. 2021. When SCOTUS magically finds a way the Chief Justice doesn't have to preside after a person is no longer president. Oh, I know. I'm well aware. It'll be more like Trump 2025, though. Right? Carry that through the next election. It's the law. They don't care about the law. And that should be obvious by now. But yeah, it's going to take until 2025 to get that case through the Supreme Court. All right. It's the law. Now people are saying it's the law. I'm not sure what it is at this point. Okay. So that being said, let's talk about Twitter. Now that we're fired up, now that I'm yelling at you and you're yelling at me, which this is a good show automatically, people are getting screamed at. Read your super important super chat. Hey, maybe you should send it at the right amount, Baneling. Squishy Hunter says, actual question, though. What are you supposed to do if you are a federal agency employee and believe the current president is illegitimate? Resign? I don't advise people to resign because you got to take care of your home. I would never tell someone to leave a position and compromise their own personal security and, financial stability. But if you have the ability to, or you have the conviction that conviction is higher than your income or whatever, then resigning is your option. But that's me. All right. Do we need one more? One more peek? There we go. We'll cool down the chat a little bit. Just a little breather between impeachment and Twitter. And then we'll get back into it. Now we're ready. Now we're ready for the next phase. Okay. Woo. Okay, yeah. Steven Crowder is going to launch a lawsuit. Great. My Pillow guy is suing Daily Mail. If these lawsuits end up being interesting, I'll cover them. I'll cover them. Okay, I'm not going to read this introduction again. I'll summarize it. I read it last stream. The long and short is Twitter. Someone catfished a minor male and got him to perform in a video where he was nude, engaged in some sort of sexual activity. They don't say, or they haven't said in the introduction, while being a minor child. And then this ended up going up on Twitter after it seems like some sort of extortion sort of scam. All right. And they tried to extort him. They put it up on Twitter. The minor child, and then I believe another minor who is in the video as well, or pictures or whatever they were, reported the instances to Twitter and asked them to take it down. Not only did they do that, they supplemented their report with pictures of their identification as proof that they were minor children. Twitter responded back to them, even though they proved that they were minors, that this was sexually explicit material of minors, which is unlawful to even own, much less post on Twitter and much less for Twitter to distribute. They gave them actual notice of the material and said, these are minor children. Twitter said, that's not a violation of our terms of service. So Twitter said they would not take down child pornography that was reported to Twitter. And they said, that's not a violation of our terms. So now the minor child is suing Twitter. Yeah, that's what's up. Heel versus babyface. How you doing, buddy? Happy birthday. I mean, yesterday for you, I think, but happy birthday, my man. Welcome to the law. So jurisdiction and venue, we're going to pick up here and we're going to go through this case. We're going to go through this case, and if you partake in the whiskey or the other liquors, you might want some for this stream. And my goodness, this Kentucky Owl is delicious. Twitter HQ, I believe, it's either in California or Washington or something. I think California. Yes, they are a U.S. company, and yes, they are bound by U.S. law. Every Game Played says, how is this not a violation of Amazon Web Services TOS? Oh, remember, actually, to be fair to Amazon, when this happened, they had not yet announced a deal with Twitter. So they were not actually in a contract with Twitter at the time. And I believe that since the lawsuit, that the material has been removed now, but we'll find out, I guess. Grand Kai 9 says, if justice dismisses the lawsuit straight out, the next action will be legally holding the justice accountable by who? The Supreme Court, which he resides with full discretion on what cases they take. DOA precedent set. Yeah, it's a tough one. So this is here we go. Let's go through this travesty. Thank you, Linda Marie. I appreciate the Kentucky Owl. I don't appreciate Mitch McConnell. So, Linda Marie, thank you for your service, being a strong representative of Kentucky. Very much appreciate the fact that you represent Kentucky much better than I ever will. All right, jurisdiction and venue. This court has diversity subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1332. Because the matter in controversy exceeds the sum or value of $75,000 exclusive interest and costs, and the parties have complete diversity insofar as John Doe resides in Florida, defendant is a business with its main headquarters and operations in California. Okay, briefly, diversity jurisdiction is one way to get a case into federal court. You either have federal question jurisdiction or diversity jurisdiction. Diversity jurisdiction says that all the parties, all the plaintiffs, and all of the plaintiffs are sufficiently diverse from all of the defendants, which means that no plaintiff shares a state of residence with a defendant. So if you have 50 plaintiffs and 50 defendants, if one of the plaintiffs and one of the defendants share the same state, no diversity jurisdiction. The other portion of that is $75,000 amount in controversy. And it's amazing that when this was written, it was $20 as the amount in controversy. Now it is up to $75,000. So you have to have $75,000 of credibly alleged damages, not including attorney's fees and costs or interest, but in raw damage. So once you have those two things, what is going on in the chat? Oh my goodness. Once you have that, you can get your case in front of a federal court. So this is Florida and California as the main operations. Businesses can actually have two states of residence. They're the state in which they are organized and the state where their main headquarters are. So in theory, you can have two different business residences. But Twitter, I think, is both of them are in California. Oh, Spectre. Yeah, there's one rule in the chat, guys. Literally one. It's please don't spam. Other than that, you're free to speak your mind. You're free to yell at me. You're free to say whatever, basically that you want. But please don't spam. But do say whatever you want at your own risk. YouTube may nuke your account if you, drop a bunch of N-words or something. They censored your super chat? Oh, just tag me. What'd you say? All right. This court has federal question subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1331 because the action is brought under 3 federal statutes. Court also has supplemental jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1367 because all the other claims are related to the claims with original jurisdiction and form part of the case or controversy. So if the federal court has jurisdiction over federal claims, then the supplemental jurisdiction would extend typically to claims that the federal court can answer. And for judicial efficiency, it's better to have them all in the same place rather than going to state court. Ulash 1, that would be since the victim is in Florida, that means that Twitter is in violation of Florida law. Yes, and that would be the supplemental jurisdiction. Venue is proper in this district because the defendant business is headquartered and operates out of San Francisco, which is located in this district. Venue is also proper because defendant conducted substantial activities in this district and is subject to personal jurisdiction. So they're suing them. This is in San Francisco court, I believe. Yeah, the Northern District of California. So they're suing them actually in the federal court in San Francisco. So they don't get to say, oh, well, we should be sued somewhere else. It's probably, they might even have a choice of venue provision in the Twitter terms of service. I don't know. Jane Doe is the parent and legal guardian of plaintiff John Doe and in all capacities relevant to this case is serving as his next friend in order to bring this action. In order to preserve the anonymity of her son, Jane Doe requests leave of the court to proceed in this action pseudonymously. Plaintiff John Doe is a resident of Florida and is a minor child, both at the date of filing this complaint and at all times relevant to the allegations contained within this complaint. John Doe seeks to proceed in this action pseudonymously as John Doe. right? Pseudonym. Because the subject matter of the allegations is of a sensitive and highly personal nature. Plaintiff John Doe is particularly vulnerable because of the trauma he has endured, combined with the fact that he is a minor. Your chat said Mar-a-Lago is your White House now? Oh, that's pretty funny. Defendant Twitter is a privately owned Delaware corporation with its principal office or place of business in San Francisco, California. So, yeah, if this kid were Joe Biden from Delaware, who lives in Delaware, he would not be able to sue Twitter in federal court. Defendant hosts the social media platform Twitter.com. Facts: the Twitter platform business model and content moderation policies and practices. Twitter is one of the most popular social media platforms in the world, with over 330 million users who send an average of 550 million tweets each day. Twitter is also a large and profitable company with about 4,900 employees. I don't know that they're so profitable, and a current market cap of $40 billion. Over 80% of Twitter's revenue comes from advertising. In the third quarter of 2020, Twitter received an estimated $936 million in revenue, of which $808 million was from advertising services and $127 million was from data licensing. Twitter enables users to communicate online in brief posts that are called tweets. Tweets are limited to 280 characters. Twitter also allows photos, videos, GIFs. It's GIFs. But this judge will pronounce it GIFs because judge are old. Voice and extra characters. When a Twitter user reposts another user's tweet, it is known as retweeting. Retweeting is a popular feature because it allows users to spread information at a high speed and a broad scale. Twitter users may also send direct messages to other users or follow other users on the platform. Twitter has been succinctly described as a blend of instant messaging, blogging, and texting, but with concise content and a broad audience. Twitter monetizes its platform by selling advertisements and data licensing. Twitter explains how it makes money from advertising services as follows. We generate most of our advertising revenue by selling our promoted products. Currently, our promoted products consist of the following. Promoted tweets. Promoted tweets, which are labeled as promoted, appear on it within a timeline. Search results or profile pages just like an ordinary tweet regardless of device, whether it be desktop or mobile. Using our proprietary algorithms and understanding of the interests of each account, they are watching you. We can deliver promoted tweets that are intended to be relevant to a particular account. Oh, I know. I know every promoted tweet that I get is definitely relevant to what I care about. I don't know about you guys. Let's see. We enable our advertisers to target an audience based on an individual account's interest graph. Our promoted tweets are pay-for-performance or pay-for-impression delivered advertising that are priced through an auction. Our promoted tweets include objective-based features that allow advertisers to pay only for the types of engagement selected by the advertisers, such as tweet engagements, retweets, replies, and likes, website clicks, mobile application installs or engagements, obtaining new followers, or video views. Promoted accounts, which are labeled as promoted, provide a way for our advertisers to grow a community of people who are interested in their business, products, or services. Our promoted accounts are pay-for-performance advertising priced through an auction. Promoted trends, which are labeled as promoted, appear at the top of the list of trending topics or timeline for an entire day in a particular country or on a global basis. We sell our promoted trends for a fixed fee per day basis. I wonder how much that costs. How much to promote the trend of Jack Dorsey is a child enthusiast? Wonder what that would cost. $1,000 likes? Oh, yeah, we do. We have 1,000 likes. It is shot time. So this is actually the second part of the review anyway. We will see how this whiskey goes down in one large sip. This is actually a little terrifying to me because of the way this whiskey tweets. Master Farce Theater, I don't have any. $200,000 a day? Ugh. All right. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Whoa! All right. Okay. That's a good whiskey. Going down. Very, it's not smooth in any fashion. It is, it's like, I don't know. It's like swallowing a bunch of nerds or pop rocks. So yeah. It's like swallowing a bunch of pop rocks. Whole. Just straight down your gullet. All right. While the majority of the promoted products we sell to our advertisers are placed on Twitter, we also generate advertising revenue by placing advertising products that we sell to advertisers on third-party publishers' websites, applications, or other offerings. Data licensing. We generate data licensing and other revenue by offering data products and data licenses that allow our data partners to access, search, and analyze historical and real-time data on our platform, which consists of public tweets and their content, and providing mobile advertising exchange services through our MoPub exchange. Our data partners generally purchase licenses to access all or a portion of our data for a fixed period. We recognize data licensing revenue as our data partners consume and benefit from their use of the licensed data. In addition, we operate a mobile ad exchange and receive service fees from transactions completed on the exchange. Our mobile ad exchange enables buyers and sellers to purchase and sell advertising inventory and matches buyers and sellers. We have determined we are not the principal as it relates to the purchase and sale of advertising inventory and transactions between third-party buyers and sellers on the exchange. Therefore, we report revenue related to our ad exchange services on a net basis. Oh, okay. The data Twitter collects on its users, IP addresses, browser types, operating systems, locations, mobile carriers, device information, search terms, and cookies. Twitter uses a web-based application program interface, API, which defines the interaction between the software components that make up its platform. Here's Twitter's explanation of the function of APIs. I know this is boring because this is technical description of Twitter, which is kind of like pulling your teeth out and shoving the roots into your eyeballs. But no, it's data, not data. We're going with data. Take that. Jordan Jones says, "Hey, Nick, I've subscribed about 2 weeks ago and have enjoyed your content since then. You should go over the options of how the country can peacefully separate, either by secession or forcing secession, i.e. California. There is no peace. There is no peace in secession. There is no peaceful secession from the Union. Make no mistake. It's not going to happen. This is not in here to bore the judge. The judge doesn't know how this works. You guys know how this works because you are on the internet and you're younger than 900. The judge likely isn't either of those things. Should I use Captain Picard's voice every time I say data? To facilitate the fast global dissemination of tweets to people around the world, we use technology like APIs and embeds that make that information available to websites, apps, and others for their use. For example, displaying tweets on a news website or analyzing what people say on Twitter. We generally make this content available in limited quantities for free and charge licensing fees for large-scale access. Twitter's API must be accessed by making requests over the internet to services that Twitter hosts. With a web-based API, such as Twitter's, an application sends an HTTP... Why didn't they say Hypertext Transfer Protocol? An HTTP request, just like a web browser does, but instead of the response being delivered as a web page for human understanding, it is returned in the format that applications can easily parse. Twitter offers access to its API in the marketplace. Ultimately, Twitter maintains control over which individuals and organizations it will grant access to its API. Having access to Twitter's API is tremendously advantageous for understanding the activity and usage patterns of Twitter users. Twitter moderates and otherwise controls third-party user content on its platforms. Twitter has so they have to establish this. They have to establish that Twitter can control these things. This is in here. They're talking about APIs because when a picture of child pornography that gets shared on Twitter gets shared on a third-party website that has access to Twitter's API, they want the judge to understand that Twitter can shut off access to that API for that third-party website or whoever it may be. That Twitter has the ability to remove the tweet content itself from not only Twitter, but from anywhere that actually grabs the data from Twitter and puts it on their website with an embed or an API if it's in an app. Okay, so that's why they're actually doing this. They have to establish the facts around that Twitter can prevent this from being disseminated. All right, Twitter has a variety of mechanisms used to moderate content on the platform. Upon information and belief, Twitter uses software and algorithms to ensure tweets reach a smaller audience, block users from tweeting, hide tweets from users in a specific country. Oh, by the way, I got moderated. Yesterday. I got shadow banned. Yesterday when I was on my Discord, or was that today? It was yesterday when I retweeted a guy and called him a simp. Right after that, one of my Discord members checked it out, and I was throttled down. My retweets were getting lower impact or something like that. Hide tweets from users in a specific country, hide user profiles, convert users into read-only mode, temporarily lock users out of their account until account verification, and permanently suspend accounts. Rather than act decisively by banning certain types of behavior and allowing others, Twitter's policy and engineering teams sometimes de-emphasize content and allow users to hide content that may be offensive, but not explicitly against the platform's terms of service. Look at how much effort they put into me not calling someone fat, but they won't stop child porn. Twitter's hateful conduct policy provides in relevant part that you may not promote violence against or directly attack or threaten other people based on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, caste, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. That phrase right there is why my first Twitter was banned when I called a guy a mutant. Called him a mutant, and that was the reason why. Apparently, that was promoting violence against or directly attacking someone for those criteria. We recognize that if people experience abuse on Twitter, it can jeopardize their ability to express themselves. Research has shown that some groups of people are disproportionately targeted with abuse online. This includes women, people of color, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, queers, intersexes, asexual individuals, marginalized and historically underrepresented communities. For those who identify with multiple underrepresented groups, abuse may be more common, more severe in nature, and have a higher impact on those targeted. We are committed to combating abuse motivated by hatred, prejudice, or intolerance, particularly abuse that seeks to silence the voices of those who've been historically marginalized. That guy was white, by the way. For this reason, we prohibit behavior that targets individuals with abuse based on protected category. Twitter specifically notes a zero-tolerance policy against violence threats. Those deemed to be sharing violent threats will face immediate and permanent suspension of their account. Twitter also bans wishing someone harm that does not rise to the level of a specific violent threat. Quote, we prohibit content that wishes, hopes, promotes, or expresses a desire for death, serious and lasting bodily harm, or serious disease against an entire protected category and or individuals who may be members of that category. Like earlier when I said that the eBay scalper should die in a horrific fire, probably with swords and needles stuck in his eyes, testicles, and pressure points. And Twitter additionally bans slurs, epithets, and sexist tropes or other content that degrades someone, except if you're a man. Yet, despite Twitter's stated policy, numerous women, especially women's rights advocates and sexual exploitation survivors, face harassment, doxing, other abuse, and threats of violence, including murder and rape on Twitter's platform. Twitter does not deploy its extensive content moderation capacities to prevent or significantly reduce this abuse, even though it violates Twitter's own policies on hateful conduct. Rather, upon information and belief, Twitter selectively removes or prevents some content on its platform and selectively chooses not to remove or prevent other content. On January 13th, 2021, Jack Dorsey, the CEO, tweeted the following. Oh, this is the Trump takedown. Okay. I do not celebrate or feel pride in having banned real Donald Trump. You guys have read these. In the same thread or series of threads, he added, now this is the one, this is the reason they grabbed this. Yes, we all need to look critically at inconsistencies of our policy and enforcement. Whoa. He just went ahead and admitted that they have inconsistencies in their policies and enforcement. Twitter and sexual exploitation material. As described above, Twitter monetizes its platform through advertisement, sale of access to its API and data collection. As long as content on Twitter's platform remains live, Twitter monetizes that content regardless of whether it is contrary to Twitter's own policies or promotes illegal conduct. Twitter thus profits from content on its platform that depicts rape, sex trafficking, child sexual abuse, and other illegal activity. And they like it. And Twitter likes it. Make no mistake, Twitter loves this. They know about it. They make tons of money on it. And they need it. As of November 2019, Twitter's sensitive media policy provides in relevant part, we prohibit violent sexual conduct to prevent the normalization of sexual assault and non-consensual violence associated with sexual acts. You can share graphic violence and consensually produced adult content within your tweets, provided that you mark this media as sensitive. Look, I held a gun to his head and made him consent. That was consensual. The video of the consent is available for $10 a month on my OnlyFans. As of March 2019, Twitter avers that it had a zero-tolerance child sexual exploitation policy and forbids the following. Any content that depicts or promotes child sexual exploitation, including but not limited to visual depictions of child engaging in sexually explicit or sexually suggestive acts, illustrated, computer-generated, or other forms of realistic depictions of a human child in a sexually explicit context, or engaging in sexually explicit acts, sexualized commentaries about or directed at a known or unknown minor, and links to third-party sites that host child sexual exploitation material. All of this stuff is readily available on Twitter right now, and they don't take it down. Bad Vibe says, ooh, are you hoping for depositions being available to the public? I'm always hoping for depositions to be available to the public. They just rarely are. Mithran Emra says, Twitter's new advertising slogan, protection for POC, 100% Trump free, and all the CP. The following behaviors are not permitted. Sharing fantasies about or promoting engagement in child sexual exploitation. This happens all the time on Twitter, by the way. All the time. Maps have found a home on Twitter. Expressing a desire to obtain materials that feature child sexual exploitation. Recruiting, advertising, or expressing an interest in a commercial sex act involving a child, or in harboring and or transporting a child for sexual purposes. Fully allowed on Discord, by the way. Discord loves that. Actually, the mods do it. Sending sexually explicit media to a child. Engaging or trying to engage a child in a sexually explicit conversation. Celebrities literally get arrested for doing this on Twitter every day. Oh, this is so frustrating because this happens constantly. Trying to obtain sexually explicit media from a child, or trying to engage a child in sexual activity through blackmail or other incentives, and identifying alleged victims of child sexual exploitation by name or image. Twitter's March 2019 policy also asserts that it will usually permanently suspend accounts of child sexual abuse material and report any such material to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. In the majority of cases, the consequence for violating our child policy is immediate and permanent suspension. In addition, violators will be prohibited from creating any new accounts in the future. Note, when we're made aware of content depicting or promoting child sexual exploitation, including links to third-party sites where this content can be accessed, they will be removed without further notice and reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. After several days of us making advertising dollars. That's in a big asterisk section that follows. Yet Twitter makes it hard for users to report this. A recent report by the Canadian Centre for Child Protection found that Twitter's platform made it extremely difficult to report this specifically. Twitter does not allow users to report a tweet for CSAM through child sexual through the easily accessible report function. One must first locate the child sexual exploitation report form. Why is that? Why would Twitter make it harder? Oh, gee, I don't know. Twitter does not allow people to report an image or video sent within a DM on Twitter as CSAM. Child sexual exploitation report form will not accept the URL from an image within a DM. Why is that? You can report abusive DMs right now. You can report DMs that offend a people of color. You can report DMs that offend the gaysbos, the gays and lesbians or whatever. You can do this from DMs right now. Can't do it with child porn. Why not? Because Twitter loves child pornography. Jack Dorsey isn't negligent. Jack Dorsey likes child pornography. Even though tweets can be viewed without being logged in, Twitter requires a person to be logged in and therefore have a Twitter account in order to report. Rainbow Boom, yes, but not tonight. Twitter received the lowest overall rating compared to other platforms, including Bing, Facebook, Pornhub, and X videos by the Canadian Centre for Child Protection for its CSAM reporting structure. Remember, Pornhub had all of its banking eliminated because of child material that you could search very specific terms for, and they might not have removed it in time. Pornhub, who police their platform pretty regularly, had all of that material, or had that material used as the reason why all of their banking is gone. Twitter has the lowest rating from this Canadian Centre for Child Protection, and by far more child pornography appears on Twitter and Facebook than does on Pornhub and ever did. But Pornhub had their entire banking removed. Nobody goes after Twitter. Twitter is also a signatory to the 5-country ministerial's voluntary principles to counter online child exploitation and abuse. 2 of those principles are as follows. Number 1, companies seek to prevent known child sexual abuse material from being made available to users or accessible on their platforms and services. Take appropriate action under their terms of service and report to the appropriate authorities. Number 2, companies seek to identify and combat the dissemination of new child sexual abuse material by their platform and services. Take appropriate action and report to authorities. Notwithstanding its stated policy, Twitter permits large amounts of human trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation material on its platform, despite having both the ability to monitor it and actual and or constructive knowledge of its posting on the platform. Twitter also contains significant pornographic content, including illegal child sexual abuse content. Tons of it. Tons of it. And if you don't know this, I don't think a lot of people know this. Again, Twitter allows full hardcore pornography. All of like the degrading, depraved, worst pornography, like System of a Down, right? Like it's a violent pornography. Like that, all of that is on Twitter. Everything you can find on any porn site, you can find on Twitter. They love all of it. That song is great, though, by the way. All of it. So people don't know that because like if you, Twitter algorithmically delivers content. So if you don't know about that, you may never actually see it. But you start clicking on some pictures of anime or some furries or something like ooh, Sonic. Suddenly there's a chick with a giant, never mind. We're not going to talk about it. All right. Twitter permits numerous profiles, posts, comments, and other content either advertising, soliciting, or depicting child sexual abuse material. To take one prominent example, searching the hashtag megalinks on Twitter, brings up users commenting on child sexual abuse material, offering to trade it, and encouraging communication by direct messages where CSAM can be illegally distributed and exchanged and not reported. A search of the hashtag megalinks on Twitter also brings up promoted tweets or advertisements, which are displayed intermixed between tweets that include the hashtag and overwhelmingly pertain to CSAM. Here's an example of advertising sold by Twitter, placed in the Twitter search results immediately adjacent to a use of the megalinks hashtag. And look who it is! It's Amazon! Of course it is! Of course it is, from one billionaire's fat bank to another. David says, send links, want to get into trading anything, hashtag megalink, hashtag megalinks, hashtag mega. Right there. Watch Small Axe, a collection of 5 films from Steve McQueen, available now on Prime Video. Hey, Steve McQueen. Isn't he dead? The hashtag megalinks is one example of many well-known hashtags associated within the dissemination of child sexual abuse material. Other hashtags that are commonly used to trade and distribute include hashtag S2R, which stands for send to receive, and hashtag Dropbox link trade. Here's an example of those hashtags used in a tweet soliciting young sexually graphic images. Come on, damn it. I'll send my tight body to you, young links. Twitter search suggestion feature. Twitter also includes a search suggestion feature in its platform. The feature reads what the user enters into Twitter's search bar and makes suggestions for other searches that the user might consider. Oh no, I can see where this is going. When a user searches for CSAM on the Twitter platform, the platform will make search suggestions designed to help the user find the illegal CSAM. Twitter software is designed so that a search for the hashtag megalinks hashtag returns suggestions for other hashtags that are related to it and users that use the hashtag to discuss or distribute CSAM. If you click on, hashtag megalinks, you get megalinks young, megalinks telegram, megalinks S2R. Then we got seller of Dropbox and megalinks. Oh, Jesus. I need a minute. You know, people have tagged me and stuff like this where they're like, oh my God, what can you do to get this removed, right? Like the realization that not only is it like it's so prevalent, it's out there, and that Twitter is so effective that I don't even see it. Like I've been tagged in this stuff with people like, how can we stop this, right? And I'm like, please don't tag me. I don't want anything tagging me to any of this. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to scroll through my feed and accidentally like see some kid. That would be awful. So I don't want that. That's why I ask people, don't tag me. Plus, I can't do anything about it. I'm just a guy in Minnesota. I can't do anything about that, okay? But the scary thing is that most people go on Twitter, never see this stuff because it algorithmically drives them away, but it algorithmically draws in the perverts that thrive on it. And that is worse. That's disgusting. If this stuff popped up in everybody's feed, they would be reported constantly. But you know who doesn't report this stuff? Fucking pedophiles. Because they want it. So they don't report it. All right. Thus, while Twitter claims that it has a zero tolerance policy, its platform not only allows the distribution of it, its platform architecture aids the distribution of child sexual abuse material, and Twitter profits from it through advertisements. Plaintiff John Doe. Where's the FBI? They're worried they'll get ratioed on their next tweet, bro. This is the problem with Twitter, by the way. Twitter and Facebook. Twitter banning the FBI's account actually removes a legitimate tip line for the FBI. Everybody's afraid of Twitter's ability. All right, so plaintiff John Doe. In 2017, when John Doe was 13 to 14 years old, he engaged in a dialogue with someone he thought was an individual person on the communications application Snapchat. Don't give your kids Snapchat. That person or persons represented to John Doe that they were a 16-year-old female and he believed the person went to his school. After conversing, the person or persons, traffickers, interacting with John Doe exchanged nude photos on Snapchat. After he did so, correspondence changed to blackmail. Now the traffickers wanted more sexually graphic pictures and videos of John Doe, and recruited, enticed, threatened, and solicited John Doe by telling him that if he did not provide this material, then the nude pictures of himself that he had already sent would be sent to his parents, coach, pastor, and others in his community. I've actually dealt with this before with adults and Facebook in the same sort of catfishing type scheme. My general advice is don't give them anything. Liusi9Live says in 2019, half of all child sexual abuse material reported to the Internet Watch Foundation was on Twitter. Half, including the dark web. Put stop the steal in those CP posts that will flag it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, by the way, a brief side note on that. If you're being extorted because you sent an explicit image to someone you thought was like a young 25-year-old pretty lady from your hometown. By the way, guys, come on. Like a 25-year-old lady from your home, pretty woman from your hometown is not going to call you, like drop you a DM and be like, hey, bro, send me your dick. That's not going to happen to you. That doesn't happen to anybody. Everybody that happens to is paying out or getting their account hacked. All of it. I don't understand. Like you're like 45 years old. In all your life, has a 25-year-old woman walked up to you and been like, hey, I'm from your hometown. Can I see your penis? Because we're neighbors? No, of course not. That doesn't happen. She was never going to bang you. She's a guy named Igor, and he's from Ukraine. He's fine. He's okay. Listen, don't ever do it. Never, ever do it. People get taken in by this constantly, and your whole life this has never happened. But now that you're on Facebook, some chick's going to be like, tee-hee, just moved to Greenbow. Would like to see your dick. Oh, here you go. Flop. My wife's in the other room, but I'll pull it out right now. No, 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 no. Don't. Stop it. Stop, stop, stop. Ugh. Okay, we've got a huge chat from Jason McConnell. Thank you, Jason. Says this is harder to listen to than women doing stand-up comedy. By the way, if this type of content does interest you, this is hard to do. I add if anybody thinks I'm not serious about this content because of the amount of jokes, listen. I'm extremely, extremely serious about this content. I use jokes as a personal defense mechanism against it. I have 5 children, ranging from the ages of 3 to 13. And this is a very, very terrifying issue for me as a parent, especially with children who do use internet activities. So, just if it seems like I'm being comedic about it, that's how I get through the world being awful. All right. That's me rationalizing and reducing in some ways for my own personal benefit. If you have interest in this subject, though, I have done a couple videos called How to Catch and Convict a Predator, where we cover this stuff and how they actually do catch child traffickers and child predators. And I actually have an interview. With someone who was convicted and sent to prison for this crime, for procuring child pornography, and is out of prison and is someone who is attempting to recover from their addiction to child pornography. So if you want to check those out, they're very old live streams. I haven't done one in a very long time, but they do exist. I don't cover it very often because it's a very dark topic. So, yeah. So there you go. And again, not trying to make light. It just helps me get through these. All right. Initially, John Doe complied with the trafficker's demands. He was told to provide videos of himself performing sexual acts. He was also told to include another person in the videos, to which he complied. Brave of the other person, by the way, I guess. That's a bro or a Brady. Bro lady. Because John Doe was and still is a minor, in the pictures and videos he was threatened to and coerced to produce included graphic sexual depictions of himself, including depictions of him engaging in sexual acts with another minor. The pictures and videos constitute child sexual abuse material under the law. Traffickers also attempted to meet with him in person. Fortunately, an in-person meeting never took place. Eventually, John Doe resolved to break free from the control of the traffickers and attempted to block them. The traffickers messaged John Doe under another account, stating that he had made a big mistake and blocked them, or in blocking them. Although afraid, John Doe continued to avoid the traffickers, and eventually the communication ceased. They always do. This is the best advice I can give people. The communications cease when they feel they have no more power over you. Once you remove the power they have over you, communications cease. At some point in 2019, a compilation video of multiple videos sent by John Doe to the traffickers surfaced on Twitter. This compilation video is published by Twitter handles @StraightBros and @FitMalesBlog. Find them and kill them. That's what I wish the U.S. government would do. Mithrin Emmer says, sad truth, it is easier to charge and convict John Doe of creating and distributing child porn for the pictures of himself than it will be to hold Twitter accountable. Think about that for a second. Yes, very true. Very true. On December 25th, 2019, Twitter was alerted by a concerned citizen that the user account Straight Bros was posting CSAM. Here's an excerpt of that report that was sent to Twitter. So they have this whole thing. This is obvious child porn. It's the reason they were reported. Most of these pedophiles have shared much more than just one link, but this should be sufficient evidence to warrant further investigation and referral for possible possession. Bam, 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 bam. Bunch of statuses, direct links. These links are all graphic child porn. Twitter's child sexual exploitation policy, blah, blah, blah. These accounts are in clear violation of this policy. There's absolutely no case to be argued to the contrary. Use the link addresses provided here to verify that they have retweeted and or linked one or more of these links, and thus media is displayed somewhere on their timeline or under the user's likes. Twitter, TOS, okay. Twitter assigned the report claim number, blah, blah, blah. It did not take action against the Straight Bros account. John Doe was 16 years old and attending high school in January of 2020. On or about January 19th of 2020, John Doe became aware of the posts when he learned from his classmates that child sexual abuse material of him and another minor were on Twitter and that many students in the high school had viewed them. Due to the circulation, man, that's got to be a shitty day for that kid. Due to the circulation of these videos, he faced teasing, harassment, vicious bullying, and became suicidal. John Doe spoke to his parents about what was happening and sought their help. His mother, Jane Doe, took immediate action to have all of it removed. She contacted school officials. Local law enforcement reached out directly to Twitter. And this is the problem. There's no one to take care of this. There is no one. John Doe attempted to contact the Twitter users who had posted the material depicting him, informed them the video was of him, that he was the minor in the video, asked him to remove the post. One of these Twitter users removed the post. However, the other ignored John Doe's request and kept the video live. On January, John Doe made a complaint to Twitter about the material depicting himself that was posted by the Twitter user FitMalesBlog. He received a response from Twitter, which assigned his complaint and case number. Thank you for reaching out. As the next step of our review, we need to confirm your identity, that you're the person in the photo you've reported. Please use this link to send us a copy of your valid government-issued photo ID, like a driver's license. So they use a reporting function and reported this as sensitive personal material that was not authorized for distribution. You can tell by this thing. Notice the difference. Like, this is the response that you get to a reported tweet, whereas the other one that they sent us was the reporting of child sexual abuse material, which is not in the easy report function. Please use this link to send us a copy of your valid government issued ID, driver's license, blah, blah, blah. John Doe submitted a picture of his driver's license to Twitter, proving that he is a minor. He emailed back the same day saying, yes, these tweets are videos of me and a friend taken from 3 years ago. These videos were taken from harassment and being threatened. Is now spreading around school. We need them taken down as we are both minors and we have a police report for the situation. These are spreading around school and it's causing many issues. The police and parents are both aware of it. Videos were taken 3 years ago but are now being resurfaced. It started about a week ago going around school. Me and blank are in these videos. On January 22nd, Jane Doe made 2 complaints to Twitter about the material depicting her son, one for each link for which she was aware. The first complaint was filed against Twitter user account Straight Bros. The second complaint was filed against FitMalesBlog. Twitter responded to both complaints with an automatic message. The first automatic message assigned the case number and read as follows. We don't tolerate child sexual exploitation on Twitter. Blah, 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 blah. Further information, please send it. Second automated message, which was for CSAM posted by user FitMalesBlog, was assigned the case number and included the same message as the auto message for the first complaint. John and Jane Doe also reported the situation to a local law enforcement agency and provided Twitter with the report number for that agency. January 26th. Notice how long this is. On January 22nd, he reported it on January 21st, 5 days later. Still up. Jane Doe followed up with an email to Twitter after a week of inactivity and lack of response that read as follows. Guys, I have been banned within hours of posting something. Within hours. This is kid porn, and they're a week out. Hello there, my name is Jane Doe. I'm John Doe's mother. I sent 2 complaints without responses from you. He had been the victim in a sex abuse situation. No one gave permission for these to be on your site. You're allowing child pornography. Police case, redacted. We want them removed immediately. On January 28th, the full 2 days later, Twitter sent John Doe an email. Read as follows. Hello, thanks for reaching out. We reviewed the content and didn't find a violation of our policies. So no action will be taken at this time. If you believe there's copyright infringement, please start a new report. Here's the thread in which the users commented on the CSAM depicting John Doe. Is that kid a minor? They both are. It sure is. Hot. Juicy. Ugh. Sin niños. That's kids or whatever. Is there a continuation for this? By the way, if your name shows up here, you should probably find a bullet. Ce sont deux frères. These are two boys. They're young. Ils sont jeunes. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not going to translate that. Wait, no. Okay, so they're young, but I love they're sexy. My French isn't great, but not when the age is under, I think, 9 years and 12 years. Okay, so yeah, they're basically saying this is like a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old, but in French. Okay. Alpha Pup Vegas says, right, that's what I thought. I don't know, that looks like a phone number. Don't call that. Nice boys with hearts. At least the Frenchman was like, hey, I like sexy boys, but not when they're so young. I hope that's what they said. Maybe my translation's wrong. Sorry, I need more liquor. I haven't, I took French in high school, and I had a nice refresher on French 6 years ago when I went to Tahiti, but my French is always a little rusty. And shockingly, my French lexicon doesn't include translating commentary about child pornography. Papa Giorgio says, Happy New Year, Nick. You'll need to see this. Happy New Year to you. I found this in a men's bathroom stall at the Denver International Airport, August 29th, 2020. Okay, I hope this is a positive thing and not an awful thing. Let me... If this is funny, I'll pull it up for the chat, because it might need just a second. Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Well, I might as well pull it up. So Papa Giorgio sent this. He says he saw this at a men's bathroom stall at the Denver International Airport. And it says Anderson Cooper raped and molested an 11-year-old child in Trancasso, Brazil. 5 years. We need help in Brazil, please. So there you go. That's what was there. All right, back to this document. Oh boy. If Twitter had reviewed the material as they claimed in their response to John Doe, they would have seen the comments above, which clearly acknowledged that the material was depicting minors. January 28th, John Doe responded to Twitter's message as follows. What do you mean you don't see a problem? We're both minors right now, and we were minors at the time these videos were taken. We were both 13. We were baited, harassed, and threatened to take these videos that are now being posted without our permission. We did not authorize these videos at all, and they need to be taken down. We have a case number with the law enforcement agency for these videos and this incident. Please remove this video ASAP and any videos linked to this one. There's a problem with these videos, and they are going against my legal rights, and they are again at the law. They meant against the law. Against, again, at is a dumb autocorrect by a phone. The law to be on the internet. Twitter ignored John Doe's final plea, and the illegal videos depicting CSAM remained live on Twitter accruing over 167,000 views and 2,223 retweets. Twitter still did not report it to NCMEC. Eventually, through a mutual contact, Jane Doe was able to connect with an agent of U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Federal agent also initiated contact with Twitter, and at the request of the U.S. federal government, it was finally removed from Twitter on or about January 30th, 2020. Only after this takedown demand from a federal agent did Twitter suspend the user accounts that were distributing the child sexual abuse material and report it to the National Center on Missing and Exploited Children. This is directly in contrast to what their automated reply message and user agreement state they will do to protect children. One of the Twitter user accounts that posted it depicting John Doe, Straight Bros, had already been reported to Twitter for posting it. It was a repeat offender. Twitter loves child pornography. Jack Dorsey loves child pornography. They make money off of it. They exploit it. They don't police it. They love it. I'm going to post it right now on Twitter. In fact, tweet. Woo. This lawsuit just shows that at Jack and at Twitter absolutely love child pornography. They are disgusting and need to be culled. Well, I shouldn't put and need to be culled. That'll probably get me banned. They are disgusting and should probably be in prison. Fuck Twitter. Tweet. I'm sure I won't be shadow banned for that one. All right. Let's see. On information and belief, Twitter did not block IP addresses or take other measures allowing that person or persons behind the Straight Bros account to continue distributing sexually exploitative material on the Twitter platform from other user accounts. As of the filing of this complaint, Straight Bros has opened a new account, Bros Straight, in which he identifies himself as Straight Bros. Defendant's conduct has caused John Doe serious and long-term, if not permanent harm, including without limitation, psychological, financial, and reputational harm. Claims alleged, count 1. Defendant knowingly used the instrumentalities and channels of interstate and foreign commerce to facilitate violations of the U.S. Code occurring within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Defendant's conduct was in or affected interstate or foreign commerce. Defendant knowingly benefited from participation in what it knew or should have known was sex trafficking venture. Twitter monetizes content on its platform through advertisements and data collection. Defendant knowingly benefited from and or received something of value for its participation in the venture in which defendant knew, should have known, or was in reckless disregard of the fact that John Doe was engaged in commercial sexual acts while under the age of 18 years old. Twitter employees and or agents had actual knowledge that they were facilitating and participating in a scheme to profit for the commercial sex acts of a minor child. The defendant knowingly benefited financially from the sex trafficking venture and the exploitation of John Doe. Twitter's conduct has caused Jane Doe serious harm, including without limitation physical, psychological, financial, and reputational harm, that it's sufficiently serious under all the surrounding circumstances to compel a reasonable person of the same background and in the same circumstances to perform or to continue to perform commercial sexual activity in order to avoid incurring that harm. Hold on. I got to reread that. Spectre Gaming, I'm glad it's suspended, but the people behind it should be suspended from life. Twitter is showing my tweet already muted. Yeah. Oh, here, I'll put the complaint in the tweet. I'll retweet it. By the way, here's a link to the lawsuit where @Jack loves child pornography and @Twitter openly profits from the distribution of child pornography. This company is a piece of shit demonic entity. And Jack is its priest. Fuck Jack. Tweet. Live tweeting the interwebs. These people are gross, guys. Okay, let me reread paragraph 110 here because it was weird. Twitter's conduct has caused Jane Doe serious harm, including without limitation physical, psychological, financial, and reputational harm that is sufficiently serious under all the surrounding circumstances to compel a reasonable person of the same background and in the same circumstances to perform or to continue performing commercial sexual activity in order to avoid incurring that harm. I think they mean John Doe. That's a weird one. But it's probably relevant to the actual statute. Jason McConnell with another huge super chat. Thank you, Jason. Says, best friend is head of teacher discipline for the largest school board on the continent. The number of minor boys who are literally incontinent from abuse is the stuff of nightmares, but all pales before native reserves. That stuff haunts your brain. Dude, it's a nasty subject. I hate it. I hate it. Twitter's conduct has caused John Doe serious harm, including without limitation physical, psychological, financial, and reputational harm. I think it's actually supposed to be the opposite. I think 110 is probably supposed to be John Doe and 111 should be Jane Doe. Under 47 U.S.C. 230, Twitter's knowing violations of these are not eligible for any immunity granted by 230. That's right. Section 230 does not immunize you from criminal liability, especially when it comes to child exploitation. Really should have tweeted at Amazon Web Services. Here we go. Let's get the, where's my retweet? Further, by the way, at AWS, it's AWS Cloud. At AWS Cloud is in a very public contract, which it lied about having in its lawsuit with Parler. And this contract will help Twitter deliver child pornography for the profit of @Jack and @Amazon. Let's see. Wait, I gotta get @Twitter. There we go. Tweet. There we go. Live tweeting is fun. All right, count 2, violation of duty to report child sexual abuse material. These people just, I swear, you put me in a room with a baseball bat and Twitter moderation teams. I'm not saying we'll play baseball, Random Blaze, I'm not really married to my Twitter account anymore. It's literally primarily just so I can check out what's going on and so I can tweet show announcements. I'm not interested in growing it or whatever. So if they yeet it, honestly, guys, if you're not following me on Minds or on the Fediverse, you need to. Minds, I'm just at Ricada Law on Minds. Fediverse, I'm at Ricada Law at verified.af. If you don't know what the Fediverse is or why there's so many ats in it, I'm not going to explain it right now. But you can follow me there. I don't really care about Twitter. I was planning on having it removed anyway. Or severely reduced to be just a show announcement thing. If I get yeeted, I don't care. I don't care about all the fucking pedophiles in law Twitter reeing about it either. You're all pedophiles, especially you, Catherine. Gross. Okay. As an electronic communication service provider, Twitter is a provider under 18 U.S.C. 2258E6. Defendant obtained actual knowledge that there was online sexual exploitation material of children being published on its platform, which was an apparent violation. Twitter knowingly engaged in intentional misconduct by ignoring clear notice of the presence of actual online sexual exploitation material of children. Twitter's conduct constitutes a failure to act with reckless disregard to a substantial risk of causing physical injury without legal justification. Twitter's conduct constitutes a failure to act for a purpose unrelated to the performance of any responsibility or function under 18 U.S.C. 2258B2C. Twitter's conduct has caused John Doe serious harm, including without limitation physical, psychological, financial, and reputational harm. Count 3, receipt and distribution of child pornography. So same facts, of course. Twitter knowingly and intentionally offers, operates, maintains, and advertises on its platform. Twitter also knowingly and intentionally encourages traffic on its platform and encourages advertisers to purchase advertisement space on its platform. Twitter knowingly received and distributed child pornography depicting John Doe on its platform. Defendant's receipt and distribution of child pornography occurred in or affected interstate or foreign commerce. As an approximate result of their violation, John Doe suffered serious harm, including without limitation, physical, psychological, financial, and reputational harm. Twitter's conduct was malicious, oppressive, or in reckless disregard of John Doe's rights, and he is entitled to injunctive relief, compensatory and punitive damages, and costs of maintaining this action. Okay, so this is an interesting sort of cause of action, because this is why there was so much explanation about it, right? If Twitter had just gotten the child porn and it was retweeted like once, and then they took action against it, there wouldn't be reckless disregard. The reason that they have that whole email exchange, and they talk about how long it took, and that it took a federal agency to actually get it taken down. That is the reckless disregard they're talking about. Now, the one criticism I will have of this is, I don't think that they adequately stated, or not, it's not that it's inadequate. I think they could have stated better. They could have stated better that the appeal process or the reporting process was ended by Twitter. That Twitter's email response to them was an effective end of the reporting process. And that there was no remedy coming. Like, not just that they went to Homeland Security to get a federal agent to remove it, but that Twitter at that point was not going to remove it until they got a federal agent. I think they could have hit that point a little bit harder. And the one thing you have to remember is judges don't use Twitter, because judges aren't really allowed to make public commentary, public statements that might impact their ability to be impartial in the eyes of two parties before them. So you don't see a ton of judge accounts. So it's important to inform them about these processes, because they may not actually be familiar with them at all. All right. Twitter's liability for knowingly violating the statute is not limited by 230, because 230 doesn't stop it. California products liability. Twitter created its platform API and related products and distributes them and has placed these products into commerce. Twitter is designed to enable its users to disseminate information very quickly to large numbers of people. Twitter is designed so that a user's search for the megalinks hashtag returns suggestions for other hashtags that are related to child sexual abuse material. All right. So here's a product's liability claim. All right. Products liability comes about. It's a specific line of tort. It's not my specialty, but I'll do my best to kind of explain it. Okay. So you have a tort where someone takes a weed whacker and chops your hand off. All right, that's that person's fault. Unless that weed whacker was designed in such a poor way and to such a poor degree that you getting your hand chopped off is a foreseeable result of the weed whacker's design, and there are other designs which will sensibly prevent the chopping off of a limb. Like, say your Ryobi weed whacker chops off your hand, but does John Deere do weed whackers? A Black & Decker weed whacker wouldn't do it because they have a design implementation that says, look, if there's some large organic material somewhere nearby, it doesn't rotate as fast or whatever it is. I don't know. But there is a competing design that's out there that has a higher ability to safely conduct the material and would prevent this specific type of injury. So you have to have reasonable foreseeability that the injury will be caused by the product's design, not by its use in a specific instance, but by its design. And then second, that there is another reasonable alternative design in the industry that they should know about. That's how you get to a product's liability case. So for Twitter, what they're probably going to show, and since it's a California-specific statute, it may have nuances to this. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. What they're probably going to have to show is that Twitter's design led to this injury, and that's what they're alleging with this. When you search for the hashtag, Twitter algorithmically delivers you awful content. It wants you to engage in this by design, and that there's probably some other way to do it that would prevent you from seeing child pornography. Like some other web service. I don't know if there's any other search engines out there, but if you type in one of these sort of hashtags, you're not going to get the same results. That's what a product's liability case is going to look like for something like this. I've never seen it applied in this way, so this is neat to see. But that's the basic gist of products liability. Now, of course, there's a million other factors. This is a high-level review, and I'm not a specialist in it. But it's a cool theory, and this explains why they included the search terms specifically. That's great. Twitter is not designed to enable its users to easily report it, nor is it designed that it is immediately blocked pending review when reported. On information and belief, Twitter does not consistently deploy IP blocking or other measures to prevent users suspended by Twitter for disseminating it from opening new accounts under different names. While third parties posted the material of John Doe on Twitter's platform, due to the structure of the platform, including Twitter's capacity to monitor, block, or delete content, product in question never left Twitter's possession. After the third parties posted the material, Twitter refused to remove it when John Doe notified them, allowing him monetizing 167,000 views and 2,220 retweets. John Doe is additionally harmed by having that many people view his abuse and retweet it, compounding the views consistent with how Twitter designed its platform to function. Twitter's products are defective because they do not perform as safely as an ordinary consumer would expect them to perform when used in an intended or reasonably foreseeable way. Twitter is a product about which consumers should be able to have a reasonable minimum safety expectation, namely that a mainstream general social media platform will not serve as a mass distribution channel for child sexual abuse material. Damn. Having insufficient features to prevent the Twitter platform from being used as a mass distribution channel is a defect in the design of the Twitter platform. Plaintiff is harmed by these defects in Twitter's products, and the product's failure to perform safely is a substantial factor in causing the harm to the plaintiff. Now we have a general negligence claim. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference all prior and subsequent paragraphs as if fully incorporated therein. The possession and distribution of child pornography is illegal under both federal law and the laws of California. Additionally, child sexual abuse material is illegal in every other state in the United States as well as across the world where Twitter does business. Child sexual abuse material depicting plaintiff John Doe was a violation of Twitter's own policies and terms of service. Twitter had a duty to protect John Doe. that'll be the argument there. Does Twitter have a duty to protect? Twitter had actual knowledge that he was a minor and that CSAM depicting him and another minor was being distributed on its platform in violation of both the law and Twitter's own policies. Twitter breached that duty and continued to disseminate the unlawful material, causing it to be viewed over 167,000 times, retweeted 2,200 times for additional views. Distribution of the CSAM depicting John Doe was monetized by Twitter, and it received financial benefit from its distribution on its platform. Twitter's broad distribution, these numbers are blowing my mind. These numbers are blowing my mind because, like I have encountered, pornographic art and actual pornography on Twitter, right? Like I've encountered it. I have never seen, like even from, famous people, I have not seen this type of interaction. That's 2,200 retweets is a huge amount. A huge amount. That's a lot of retweets. I have never had anything retweeted that many times. And I mean, my Twitter accounts, I had almost 30,000 followers and now I have almost 16,000 followers again. It's not like I have small Twitter accounts. I've never had anything retweeted that many times. Ulash says porn stars don't even get that much on their nudes. Yeah, that's a huge amount. Gross negligence. Twitter had a duty to protect John Doe. Twitter had actual knowledge that he was a minor, that CSAM depicting him and another minor was being distributed on its platform. Violation of both the law and Twitter's own policies. So they're going to say that the duty stems from Twitter's policies, from the laws, and really that, you know, that's probably why they mentioned that they signed on to that international compact to report this stuff. Twitter breached that duty and continued to disseminate, causing it to be viewed a whole bunch, okay, by permitting the CSAM depicting plaintiff John Doe to remain on the platform after it was notified of the material's presence by members of the public, by John Doe and by Jane Doe. Twitter exhibited a lack of any care. Twitter's conduct is an extreme departure from a reasonably careful person would do in the same situation to prevent harm to others. Let's be very clear on this. If you hosted a website and posted this video and the exact same thing happened, if you posted a website, straightbros.com, and the exact same situation occurred, you posted this video, someone reports it, this guy reports it, you say, hey, verify your age for me then. They verify their age. You refuse to take it down, you refuse to report it, you're going to prison. You're going to prison if you do the exact same thing. And you're not going to prison for like a day. You're going to prison for several years. You may die in prison. There are people who post this stuff and delete it when they're informed, and they go to prison. Negligence per se. Twitter's conduct with respect to plaintiff John Doe violated numerous laws. The violation of numerous laws was a substantial factor. So it's they're per se negligent because they violate these laws. They're automatically negligent. Negligent infliction of emotional distress. This is a really, really hard tort to prove, but I think here it has some merit. Twitter's conduct in refusing or failing to remove CSAM depicting plaintiff John Doe was outrageous due to the extreme illegality and abusive nature of the content and Twitter's large distribution potential. Severe emotional distress is typical for abuse and human trafficking victims. It is magnified when depictions of the abuse are made public, especially to large numbers of people. The one thing they didn't plead on this that they should have is that he's in therapy. First of all, he should be in therapy anyway. He should already be in therapy for this. Second of all, you want to plead that you actually have tangible damages in the form of medical treatment. This is something that is so often missed. Like, I know this isn't that old of a thing. He should be in therapy. The second they considered litigation, he should have been in therapy. Angry Gaming Dad, MAP is an acronym. MAPS, the S should be lowercase. MAP is minor attracted person. That's the acronym. Twitter acted with reckless disregard of the probability that John Doe would suffer emotional distress from Twitter's continued distribution of the sexual abuse material. Plaintiff John Doe suffered severe emotional distress and mental anguish, which proliferated Twitter's conduct with both the cause. They should have pled in the facts that he's been in therapy ever since. That's what they should have done. So count 9, distribution of private sexually explicit materials. This is a California statute. By refusing to remove or block the photographic images and video depicting him after he notified Twitter that he was a minor, Twitter intentionally distributed on its online platform the images of John Doe. He did not consent to the online distribution and video depicting him. Twitter knew that he had a reasonable expectation that the images would remain private. Photogenic images and video exposed an intimate body part of John Doe, and he was harmed by Twitter's knowing and intentional distribution. This is a weaker count because there's a real question of whether or not Twitter actually did this actively in the law. In the law, there's a real question about it. So it's a weaker count. That's why it's count 9. We're getting down there. Count 10, intrusion into private affairs. Twitter knew that he had a reasonable expectation that the images would remain private. They intentionally intruded into his expectation of privacy by continuing to distribute. These are going to be hard claims. 9 and 10 here. While they definitely did it, their level of intentionality in pushing this is technically questionable. Invasion of privacy under the California Constitution. Legally protected right to privacy under California law. Article 1, Section 1 of the California Constitution states, all people are by nature free and independent and have inalienable rights. Among these are enjoying the defending of life and liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining safety, happiness, and privacy. Twitter knew that John Doe had a reasonable expectation that the photographic images and video depicting him would remain private. Twitter intentionally intruded into John Doe's reasonable expectation of privacy by continuing to distribute the photographic images and video depicting him after plaintiff notified Twitter that he was a minor and the material had been posted on its platform without his consent. Twitter's intentional intrusion into John Doe's reasonable expectation of privacy would be highly offensive to a reasonable person, was a violation of his rights. Request for relief. Okay, here's the end. Wherefore, plaintiff respectfully requests that this court enter a judgment in his favor and against defendant and grant the following relief. That the court grant preliminary and permanent injunctive relief to prohibit defendant from continuing to engage in the unlawful acts and practices described herein. Court award plaintiff compensatory, consequential, general, and nominal damages in an amount to be determined at trial. By the way, I don't know if this is clear. You know, YouTube has a content ID system. So when you upload a video to YouTube, it goes through a processing phase. And in that processing phase, YouTube legitimately runs the video and scans the entire frame for portions of the video or audio. Like, so right now I've got me in this frame, but over here, we've got a document. If that were a video, like I did last night, and YouTube detected algorithmically a match of that video to another video, it would send a message to the owner of the other video and say, hey, this person used a portion of your video in their video. And they tell you exactly what percentage of the video they used. All right? Twitter can absolutely compose a list of child sexual abuse material that is shared on Twitter. They can add to that list and algorithmically and almost instantly remove any material that matches anything in their database. They could do that immediately. That technology is fully implemented on competing platforms and probably on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. Big tech has all of this at their fingertips. They could do this no problem. It would take them no effort. They wouldn't have to add staff to it. They go, we've determined this is child sexual exploitation material, and we've got a database of it. They could share that database with the FBI, probably do that. FBI would probably love to have that database shared with a machine learning thing, not someone who can view it, but a machine algorithm that could go, okay, this is the same as this, because the FBI keeps and catalogs all child pornography that they review, all of it. There's a vault in the FBI that has all of it digitized and annotated, which I don't like, but they have it. Okay? If they coordinated with Twitter and YouTube and wherever, any video uploaded to those platforms could be immediately, by the AI, checked against the existing repertoire of child sexual abuse material, flagged and taken down before it even uploads. They could do it. But they don't. Why? Because Jack makes money off of exploited children. This is a depressing fucking topic. Bad Vibe says, Nick, would the fact that Twitter's outright refusal to remove after verification and notification be sufficient for the weaker claims to pass muster? I don't know. They'll just be harder in general. I don't know that any of this will actually go through. That's the crazy thing. Mithrin says, if any part of this lawsuit survives Twitter's motion to dismiss and motion for summary judgment, 100% chance they go for a big settlement offer with an ironclad NDA. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just scared that it's not going to survive the motion to dismiss or motion for summary judgment. All right. That the court award plaintiff compensatory, consequential, general, and nominal damages in amount to be determined at trial. Requiring restitution and disgorgement of all profits and unjust enrichment obtained as a result of the unlawful conduct. Court award punitive or exemplary damages in amount to be determined at trial. Court award to plaintiff the costs and disbursements of the action along with reasonable attorney's fees. Court award statutory damages and penalties. Pre- and post-judgment interest at the maximum rate. Other equitable relief the court may deem just and proper. Court retain jurisdiction of this matter to ensure all forms of relief it deems appropriate. So there we go. That is the complaint. The exhibits are the Twitter policies, so I'm not going to go through them. They're like 30 pages of exhibits. But that's that. That is that. That is. Whew. Okay. That is not pleasant. Not a pleasant lawsuit, but a real lawsuit with a real company that is controlling your political speech, your ability to vote, your ability to obtain information about who will write the laws of your country is controlled by that organization. Absolutely furious about how this works out. But That's what it is. Okay. Let's go through the chats, and then we will go over to Twitch to watch a movie tonight. No, I don't know what movie we're going to be watching, but we will watch that. We're going to read some chats. There may be Angry Baneling, there may be a swap over to Twitter in just a second. Okay. Mario Carter 13 says, Clarence Thomas, Roberts was too busy dilating, so I'll be presiding over the second impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. But before you present your case, the doctrine of latches applies. Should have impeached him earlier. Not guilty. Court adjourned. That would be a great response. Unfortunately, we have leaky Pat Leahy, not Clarence Thomas. Yash Kent says, hey, Nick, quick question. Couldn't the most popular president of all time have released the kids in cages along the border? Or is it more complicated? I'm just thinking they were emotionally manipulating people again. Yeah, of course he can. On January 20th, he could have released every kid in every cage in any jurisdiction. Well, in any federal jurisdiction, which would include all border crossings. Salt says, I come back to Twitter after 7 months to find a certain remote-wielding abuser still making 40-plus tweets a day on his topic of discussion. Yep. P.S. Did you see the antitrust counterclaim aimed at Westlaw? No. That's interesting. Surfrat says, I think case law is firmly established that Jesse P.S. of Pot Awful is a Niger Fagay. I don't know. That's not in my French repertoire either. Edris Rex says, Democrats are openly showing that they learned from Stalin. Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the vote decide everything. They don't care about existing laws, just writing new ones to punish their opposition, existing and future. Anime Moon says, so what do you think about the attempt by Pelosi to have Congress take over elections and try to make us a complete banana republic by trying to gatekeep the political apparatus? Sounds like they want something we can't say online anymore because canceled. I don't know. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Bad Dragonite says, my friend's wife's friend lost her husband recently. My friend's wife wanted to get her a gift. She searched gifts for widows and Amazon recommended a dildo. So there you go. That's nice. Good recommendation. Mario Carter 13 says, if there aren't hot singles in your area, please explain the shampoo bottle challenge. That's a hashtag where you balance a shampoo bottle on your penis. Edris Rex says, the more I listen to this disgusting garbage, the more I think about something you said a while back. I'm neutral on Trump's wall, but I do believe in the wall, as in get on the wall, pow. I'm not even a parent and this stuff makes my stomach turn. Jason, oh, you got to stop. I appreciate it very much, man. I appreciate it. Oh, my goodness. Jason with a third big super chat says, that was heavy as hell. Thanks. Did you know Highland Park is the only scotch that controls everything from owning and harvesting the fields through production and bottling? Also, Canadian rye ain't real rye. I really enjoy Highland Park. It is expensive as all get up. Angry Gaming Dad, we watched Clue last week. Jason, thank you. I like Highland Park. I've had the 18 and the 30, and they're both delightful whiskey. Andrew War Snowboard says, vacay in Houston. How much Stanley's should I eat? Stanley's is in Tyler. So if you want to go to Stanley's, you need 3 hours of driving time from Houston. I would recommend Killen's if you're in Houston. Go to Killen's. Also, go to Mama Ninfa's in downtown Houston if you're anywhere near downtown. You will not regret it. Get yourself some damn fajitas from Ninfa's. If you are around Auntie Chang's dumpling house, go there. Get yourself some dumplings. Auntie Chang or Auntie Chan, I can't remember. Sorry to my Asian friends. It is phenomenal as well. There's a million places to eat in Houston. Those are the three that jump out at me. Ulash1 says, Rackets, did you check your Twitter? Oh, shit. No? All right, so here's what was sent to me on Twitter. Here's COVID. People are going to die. Oh, no. Anyway, that's me. That's me. Honestly, though. That's unironically me. I get it. That people are going to die. But I'm sorry. That's the price of freedom, is that you don't have as much security. Gringos is way better than Ninfa's. I'm talking about downtown Ninfa's only. I don't vouch for any other Ninfa's. It's about the Spiffing Brit video. Oh, I saw the community post thing. Like I said, I use community posts all the time. I didn't do the crazy Spiffing Brit version of it, but yeah. Automata says, Racket's doing a speed run for demonetization. Any percent? Yeah, this video will not be eligible for advertisements because I'm talking about child exploitative material, even though I'm condemning it wholly and saying that it should be purged and anyone who shares it should be purged with holy fire. YouTube will not allow ads on a video that discusses it. So, that's how that goes. But that's okay. I knew that going in. Bad Vibe says, YouTube doesn't like the term associated with Mr. Yuck. PIVP, P Oak Lead P. Wait, PIVP Oak Lead P. Okay. Lead. Tweets are being highly censored. Most replies are being hidden. Yeah, I know. Of course it is. Literally everyone says, this John Doe guy sues a lot of people. Here's some more money for your ceiling. Thank you. King Temperance says, hey, Nick, the store updates at 10 a.m. Pacific. Have you got around to reading Lion's book yet? It ruled and was definitely my favorite Primark novel so far. No, but I did just order Alfarius, so I'm looking forward to that. If they don't have 2 books in that Alfarius box, I'm gonna scream. No, I haven't read it yet. I'm almost finished with Solar War. Spook Freeman says, if the Chief Justice won't do the impeachment, where are we going with this? We're going towards a circus. Automata says, what a coincidence. I hear Jack also feels like a 5-year-old drinking liquor. Only in his case, he's talking about his order. CJ says, you have no words to describe it. Weren't you some branch of English major for undergrad? Why don't just describe it like, the thing? Come on, man, the thing, Kissing my ass says, HR 1 bill review win. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know. Mr. Leon says, I bet you Legal Eagle would let us ask the balls question. Music and Fiction says, Elizabeth Hurley tweet says, Booty and the Hoe Fish. I mean, come on. Why? What do you got against Elizabeth? Laughing Kuru says, hey, Nick, thoughts on Chris Hansen is over party after John Swan proved that Hansen works with people that threaten, dox, and sexualize a minor? I don't care about Chris Hansen. He's irrelevant to me. Padre Speak says, could the defense pull a Charles 1 and ask under what authority anyone but Chief Justice has in presiding? I mean, you could try. The problem with it is you're not in a court proceeding. You're in a political proceeding. Jason McConnell says, I once washed up on Little St. John's. Our piece of junk charter rudder broke, and I have plenty of witnesses that I've always been a MILF guy. They got nothing on me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Jason McConnell, without a super chat, just tag me, buddy. What's your preferred age of MILF? Are we talking 30-year-old MILF, 40, 50? What's your poison, man? Wolfgang Deo says office of the former president is more respected than the office of the president-elect. Of course, Biden is president, a horrible one already. Amateur Ant says M. Night Shyamalan twist. They're actually impeaching Biden's Bidenus pervertus and too stupid to realize it. Josue Tavares sent me a 1-up hippo. Thank you. Amateur Ant says, Nick, you're still acting like the Constitution matters at this point. It's a circus world now, especially in the U.S. Angry Baneling says, Nick, can you get Elizabeth Hurley on for the show? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I would love to have her on. It'd be great. 43 is ripe, says Jason. Okay. Well, there you go, man. I'll accept your answer. I'll accept your answer. Jufum says, will Chuck and Nancy drag Roberts into chambers to preside? No. No, they don't want him in there. That's the thing. They don't want Roberts to preside. Angry Bathing says, is Elizabeth Hurley single? Whereabouts is she? Well, she's in the UK, I'm guessing. Single? I don't know. I don't know if she's actually single still. She was at one point married to Hugh Grant, and then he treated on her with a trans person. So. Amateur Anth, your chat was censored, so thank you. Serial Foxy says in Picard's voice, you know, back when I was in the academy, we would follow every toast with a song. Amateur Anth, your chat was censored again. That's nice. Mike Dixon says, does it matter what people say in Super Chat or should it matter? I guess it does matter. Should it? Not really. Luthien the Mortal says the Elizabeth Hurley is single still. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure about that. Luthien the Mortal says the kingdom of God is greater than the kingdom of man. They will erect their policies in this kingdom of man and will fall short because Satan guides them. Christ is coming and all shall be judged. Also says the world is becoming more locked down by the fallen angel Satan. Repent and give your life to the kingdom of God and not to this kingdom of man. Mod Jason, is he still talking? If he chats me, I'll mod him. If he wants. If he wants to be modded, it's oh wait, there was one, damn it. I saw it right as I gave up. Where did it go? I bet I can do this. Jason. Oh, there it is. All right. I'll moderate him. There you go. You're a moderator now, Jason. Use your powers wisely. Dan Wardy, welcome to paralegal status, buddy. Very much appreciated. Luthien the Mortal says, sending your kids to public schools is child abuse. In many ways, I agree. I'm not going to go that far because I don't want to suggest that the parents are abusing the children, but I think the schools absolutely are. Alanis Morissette says, isn't it ironic, don't you think? Bad Dragonite says, get Sword and Scale on to talk about this stuff. That guy's great. I want to have him back on just talk more anyway. See where he is now. Because he and I differed a little bit on the COVID lockdown stuff at the beginning. We had a great charity stream over it. Alanis Morissette says, sing this. I don't know the tune you want. If it's too ironic, I guess. An old man became president, wanted China over America without the mass consent, I guess. Some guy says, did you see that lady on Twitter who bragged about her multiracial adopted kids on Twitter for BLM clout, then Minecrafted her white daughter while posting about privilege? Twitter equals are a funny comedy. Jesus. Radioactive Rico Gaming says basically they're trying to use FOSTA SESTA exception to go after Twitter. Not sure how well that is going to go, though. No idea. No idea. Mike Dixon says, this makes me mad. Me too. Thermasius1980 says, please help me get this out to the normies. Shed light in this darkness so at least some can start the long healing process. Mike Dixon says, I have decided to hack every child abuser. Careful what you find, buddy. Amateur Anth sent another censored donation. Zero SMSS says, in Kermit voice. Hold on. Need a little water. Oh, you're not a pedo, you're a map? Well, they're going to need a map to find all of you once I'm done. Danny Grimm says, Twitter is so automated that it actually takes effort by someone at Twitter to interfere with their algorithms. Physicality Channel says, just tuning into your lighthearted stream. Nothing Raven says, you should tag MasterCard in your tweets. Cold Fate, but MasterCard knows. They know everything. Cold Fate 2A wannabe Hunan Muhammad says, Rekieta hates capitalism. All hail Chairman Rekieta of the USSA. Cue the Mayday parade music. Let's see. Paulio64 says, did you see that black woman who did the thing to her white adopted child? It gets worse. Check your DMs on Twitter. BLM profile pic. Okay. Oh, here we go. Kellyanne Conway apparently posted a topless photo of her 16-year-old child in her fleets. Girl's a total brat, but I kind of believe it's because both of her parents are whack. Kellyanne Conway posted her minor daughter's nudes. Talking about why those were on her phone to begin with, or the fact that his distribution of child pornography, the lasting psychological effect on this will have on her daughter. Go to hell, Kellyanne. Okay. Ah. Okay. Wild. So it's Kellyanne Conway? Wasn't she like in the administration? Bad Vibe says, it would be poetic if Twitter not only loses 230, but it gets rewritten and they get no say, then have to pay the fines for failures to enforce their TOS each time. And then Russell Warren sent a thank you Peach sticker. Bad Dragonite says, Nick, let's have a watch party. Amazon, yeah, we saw your tweet earlier and that's not going to work for us. Oh no, they'll still do it. Talbot Link says, MasterCard knows and Visa is everywhere I don't want to see. John Taylor says, can you do Statler and Waldorf heckling lemons? Oh my gosh. No, not off the top of my head. I'd have to think up some insults, but I'll work on it. All right, guys. That's the show for tonight. Whoever asked what's the whiskey, it is this Kentucky Owl 10-year. This is one of the best rye whiskeys I've ever had. It is exciting to drink. It's an interactive whiskey is what I called it, which sounds really stupid. But all reviews of liquor sound stupid, okay? So I'm on safe ground here. It tingles everything it touches. So we go. I'm not going to finish that joke. So that is, it is very, very good. I strongly recommend it. It's not the cheapest bottle, but it is quite good. Ron Crossman, I will find a high action movie. All right, guys, I'm going to play the outro. and we're gonna wrap this. We're gonna wrap this little show up, this little shindig up, and we'll be over on Twitch. We'll be over on Twitch in just a few minutes, and we'll watch a movie with lots of killing in it, or whatever. All right, guys. Thanks a bunch for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Truck and Bear says, is Angel's Envy a good whiskey for a novice? My wife didn't care much for the Lagavulin. Lagavulin is a terrible whiskey for a novice. Lagavulin should not be a novice whiskey at all. Angel's Envy is much better than Lagavulin for new drinkers. Yeah. Angry Bathing says, vampire lords greater than werewolves. True facts. Nikki, knock it off. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Have a good night. Peace. Peace. Roscoe says, Google story of black woman Minecrafting adopted white daughter. No results. Use Bing. First result. Damn.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitter and Erlang. From the white shores of Rant to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all planet folk from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what